Welcome back to the Coyote Country Homestead. My name's Chris. I've got a tree that I've been meaning to take down for quite a while. It's a pine tree. It's very rotten. I know it's going to come down on its own eventually, and so I'd really like to get that now before it comes down at an inopportune time. Let me show you what we're going to be dealing with. The tree we're talking about is the one in the middle here. I've got a little ribbon kind of tied around it just so that I did several of these in the springtime as a reminder to myself that these are ones I wanted to get down. And you can see this one is completely dead, and I guess the real challenge here is trying to figure out how to make it fall through these live ones, all without having it come down on top of me, which I do not want to happen. You can see here, this is very rotten. What I would love to do is come here with the tractor and just push it over, but I'm afraid the top half, afraid it would break off and fall on me. I don't feel like that's a safe thing to do. I think what I'm going to do, I want it to fall same direction as this limb. I want it to fall this way. And so I think what I'm going to do is get my pole saw and cut as many of these limbs on the backside as I can, as high as I can get up here, cut the ones that are kind of intruding, like this would be a good example here. Just cut it off so that it's not going to rub against there. And if I can keep the weight on this side at the top as I make my cut down here, I'm really hoping I can get it to go the direction I want. Anyway, that's the plan for tonight. It's tough to find a really good angle to make sure that you can see what's going on here without having stuff fall on the camera. I'm using my Ryobi battery-powered 40-volt pole saw. I know there are probably be some people laugh at my Ryobi tools, but I've got to tell you, my Ryobi tools have never let me down. I've been using them for several decades. Got 18-volt hand tools and the 40-volt yard tools. They work pretty good, so we'll see. Hopefully they continue to function up to my expectation level tonight. Actually, I'm just going to put that over my shoulder here. All right, like we were saying, I'm going to cut. I just want to cut enough of this one. I really want the weight to stay on the front of the tree, but I don't want it interfering with that other tree when it falls. This is another example. Wish that I could get even higher, but I don't think I can. I'd like to cut some of those limbs off up there, and they are out of reach. So this is actually pretty good. I shouldn't be greedy. So let's go get the regular chainsaw. Before I try to drop this one, I'm going to go ahead and clear some of these limbs out so that I'm not tripping over them. It's all super lightweight, dry, dead brush. And I didn't show you, but I'm like 50 yards from the burn pile. An experienced woodsman would know exactly where to cut this, where it was going to fall, at least have a good idea. About the best I can hope for is that I'm working with the angle of the tree here. I've left limbs on the front to continue pulling it that way. The rot in here makes me a little nervous. My plan is to notch it on the front, cut it on the back, hope that it falls that way, and be ready to run. My exit path is I'll be cutting over here. My exit path is that way. This way to roll if needed, but there is a limb here, so I do have to be a little bit careful. And then if something should happen while I'm notching it, we're going to try and get out this way. I don't plan to make too big a notch on the front, again, because there's so much rot. Sorry guys, I've had a sore throat the last couple of days. There's so much rot on both sides that I don't think it's going to take much to bring this down. All right, that feels like a pretty clean notch. It's not very deep. I am right now into the heartwood that's not totally rotted out. May take him in just a touch more. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Already we've got a little movement there. I cut a little low. The reason was because of this. There's a limb here. One here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Honestly, I'm inclined to get the wedges and see if there's enough heartwood to wedge this and get it to come out. My thought process here is if I need to run because this thing barber chairs or does something else unexpected, I would rather be running, being able to drop this and take off, than having a chainsaw in my hand. Nope. I say no. No. Okay, well, there's not much of a hinge left. And you know what? I want to make sure. I think I might have gotten the bottom cut. I did. But same thing. Just too much hinge. Or, yeah. Some movement. Yeah, I definitely saw movement. All right, we're going to try this again. See, I think the problem is it's supported up there. Yep. All right, there we go. Getting back. Nice. Woo, look at all that falling down there. That was what I didn't want falling on me if I bumped that with my tractor. Whew, okay, good. And you can see, sorry, I am stopping here and looking up above me just to make sure nothing's hanging up there. I don't see anything. All right. You can see where when this came through here, it just disintegrated. That was a very, very rotten tree. Glad to have that out of there. So you can see the burn pile is just right there in the background. So as much as I love my little mule here, I don't know if the tractor is going to be a lot of help, except for maybe some of these bigger logs, which I may use the bucket for. But let's start getting this bucked. I don't know if that's the right word for this or not, into small enough chunks that I can get it over to the burn pile. trying to really get in the habit of every time I put my chainsaw down, I kick the brake so that it's off. I love my battery-powered chainsaw, but one of the things about it compared to a gas one is if the battery's in, it's basically on. And if I'm not thinking about it and I grab it by the trigger, it's going to go. And so having that where the brake is off, at least is a stopgap measure to make sure that if I'm getting tired and clumsy and I'm not paying attention, it's at least not going to fire up on me. So guessed wrong on the compression and the tension wood on that one. Bound up just a little bit, but I was able to get it out. All right, so let's think this through. And mostly I'm just practicing with this dead, rotten wood. This should be pretty easy to cut up, but if we want to cut through the tension wood first, that would be the bottom. And the compression wood, at least right here, is going to want to settle in. There it was. You can see by the way I'm moving around these relatively large sections how old and rotten this wood is. That one was kind of heavy. If this were literally any farther away, I'd be pulling the bucket up for at least these 4 pieces. But that was really the heaviest one. And a little bit of scrub to pick up. The stump, I don't know what we're going to do with. I don't have a grinder. Until I figure out what I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave it. That's a problem for another day. Okay, that feels pretty successful. I didn't get hurt. The tree is down. It's over on the burn pile. I'm calling that a practice tree. I've got plenty of live ones that I'm planning to cut down off on the property sometime later this year. And I want to make sure everyone's clear. None of what I'm doing should be construed as advice on how to use a chainsaw. I'm literally figuring this out as I go. I've used a chainsaw off and on for a couple of years now. Watched a whole bunch of videos on how to do it safely, trying to do the best that I can. If you have suggestions, recommendations for things that I could do different, better, please leave me a comment. And otherwise, I'm going to keep trying to get the work done. That'll be it for tonight. Do me a favor, click like, click subscribe. Subscribe won't cost you anything. Nobody gets charged any money for that. And we won't send you anything, but it will let you know when I've got a video coming out, the next one, so you can follow it if you've been watching my channel and you want to see more of my videos. So in the meantime, thank you very much for joining us at the Coyote Country Homestead. I'm glad that you came and joined us for this, and we will talk to you next time.